Welcome back. This is module 4, and this module is all about search engine optimization, also known as SEO. What on earth is this all about? Well, let's first of all define what SEO is. The process of influencing natural search results so that your website pages rank well for your chosen keywords. So if someone is searching for Pilates classes in Surrey, and you run Pilates classes in Surrey, how likely is that your website is going to come up on the first page of the search results? There's an old saying in digital marketing that the best place to hide a dead body is on page 2 of Google search results. The vast majority of people click on something on the first page. They simply don't go to the second page. They don't really trust it. So if you're not doing good search engine optimization for your site, and your site is not coming up on that first page, and ideally in the first 1, 2, or 3 results, then you're unlikely to be seen. Is this just about Google? Well, no, it's not. It's about search engines such as Bing as well, but Google does have over a 90% market share here, and whatever you do in Google that's good is likely to be the same kind of principles as the other search engines as well. Some of the other search engines are search engines like Baidu, which is the Chinese search engine. There's a Russian search engine. So in English-speaking countries and in the UK, in the States, Google's market share is even higher. That sort of 9-point-something% that the rest of the search engines have, an awful lot of that is taken up by Yandex and Baidu and some of the language-specific search engines. And apparently, the average person conducts 3 to 4 searches every day. I do an awful lot more than that, and I'm sure some of you will as well. Now, maybe you've got a website already, and you think, oh, I do really well on search. I just need to put in Hatha Yoga in Sydenham, and my classes come up, despite the fact that there are 5 different people teaching Hatha Yoga in Sydenham. Well, actually, that might just be because you are searching without an incognito, a private browser switched on. So when you want to check how well you are doing in the search results, you absolutely need to do that in an incognito browser. Because if you do it on the computer and in the browser in Google on your phone or your computer, just as you normally would, then Google's going to pay complete attention to all your previous search history and all of your previous clicks. And it knows that you spend an awful lot of time on your own websites. So of course it's going to show you that first in the search results. Every person's search result is completely unique based on their previous search history and click history. So when you are doing research into search engine optimization and where keywords are performing well, you need to do it in an incognito search. SEO is for you to do. I'm saying that because a lot of people think it's for their web developer to do. So I was talking to someone the other day who's setting up a new website for her business. She's like, oh, I've got a great web developer. He's really good at SEO, so he's going to get it all done. Now, he may well do some of the technical stuff really well for SEO and things like page load speed and, some understanding of keywords and putting them out across the site appropriately. He probably will have a good idea of how to do. But an awful lot of SEO is for you to do and absolutely for you to specify. Now, there are 3 different elements to think about. There is the speed of load of your site, and it should be super, super quick to load, particularly on mobile. And there's, for instance, a tool called Pingdom that you can use, and that will test for you what your speed is like and give you a rating. So speed is very important, and things like having not having shared hosting, not having really big images that are very heavy, not having carousels and videos playing on the site. So having minimal stuff loading on the pages will all help improve the speed. And there's a bunch of other things as well, which I'm going to talk to you about in my other course. Let's just keep on with these other 3 areas. So crawlability. So this is how well your website lets Google's search spiders crawl. Are there broken links on the site? Is the navigation logical? Have you actually even got the code on the site that it's the robots code that says to Google, yes, you're welcome, please come in and crawl, or has that not been switched on yet? And then the third thing is this thing we've been talking about already called responsiveness. So how well your website works when people are looking at it on different screen sizes, so on tablets and on mobiles. And are they getting the same experience on mobile as they are on desktop? So it may kind of look all right, but it could be quite slowed down, and it could be loading lots and lots of things that actually you don't need on mobile. So as I said when I talked about my website earlier, a lot of the photos on my site actually don't load on mobile because it keeps it nice and slick and speedy. Now, this module is deliberately quite short. It's because I cannot possibly teach you everything you ought to know about search engine optimization in the space of one module in a course that's really just about setting up a business. You need a specialist course for it, and I have just that course. It's called Search Engine Optimization, a practical guide to SEO for the non-technical marketer. So I said SEO is for you to do. Well, here's how you do it. So head over to Digiterati Academy and just do that course. It's quite long. It's about, I don't know, I think it's about something like 7 or 8 hours worth of content. So you'll need to put a little bit of time aside to do it, but you can do it in bite-sized chunks. It'll help you spec your site for your developer. If you've got an existing site, it'll give you loads and loads of clues as to what you can do to better optimize it for search. And it's super useful to do if you are just starting out with a website. So I cannot recommend it highly enough to you. I know it's my course and I sell it and I make money out of it, but believe me, it will make a difference to how profitable and effective your business is. So it's investing in getting this right now in order that you can then get people into your classes later on. Some of the things that I will talk about in that course is the usability of the website, both for Google and for humans. So what is the navigation like? Is it really logical? Can within just 2 or 3 clicks people always find what they want? Can they go to the homepage and immediately click to book? Can they go to the homepage and immediately find your contact details? Can they go to the homepage and find where you are based? Can they go to the homepage and search for what type of yoga you do? Think about what people are looking for, and is that easily clickable? There are lots of tools out there that you can use that will help you measure how well you're doing in SEO for now. One of them is SEMrush. You can get a free trial of that. Don't do that until you've watched my course. You need to do keyword research and deployment of those keywords. So you need to think about what keywords people are likely to be using to find yoga classes and make sure that those keywords are deployed on your website in appropriate places. I'll talk to you about that in a bit. You also need to work on getting people to link to your site from other websites. So local directories, other local businesses, perhaps other yoga teachers that recommend you, yoga directories. I've got a backlink to my site from the Valdemosa's site because I took some photos for them. So I'm credited with those photos and there's a link back. Doesn't really matter how that link is, but getting the link back. And Google loves to have links because it's a sign of trust that if people are linking, sending people from their website to yours, that's a valuable thing and Google knows it. There's a link there to a case study on a website that I took from 0 visibility on Google. I think it was on page 73 of the search results, page 73. It was just nowhere. It was an ancient site. It wasn't optimized. It wasn't responsive for mobile. It was actually the old Valdemosa's site. And I go through in great detail on this blog post how I did the keyword research, how we chose the main keyword phrase we wanted to go for, and how within a few months I got them to the #1 slot on Google with that keyword phrase. So if you want to understand more about SEO, you don't want to buy my course yet, go and read that case study and that will be a free introduction for you. Page markup. What do we mean by this? Well, this is some of the code that you put into your page, and very easy on a content management system like WordPress to do this. where you are kind of guiding the search bots as to what this page is all about and what the important things are on the page. So each page will have a title tag, and that should be under 70 characters in length. There will be alt tags, so these will be the things that when you hover over an image, you'll see the image description, right click it, and you'll see the alt tag. And that should be all of these tags. Everything on here should have your particular keyword phrasing that you're going for on that page. Your H1 is your main heading. So on my homepage, remember it was yoga classes in Chorleywood and Rickmansworth. So that's my H1, and that's also actually my title tag as well. My H2 is my second subheading, so we will want to have synonyms of your main key phrase there. So I might have an H2 that talks about beginners yoga classes in Chorleywood or beginners yoga classes in Hertfordshire. You then have what is called a meta description, and this is something that you code into the back of the site for the SERP, that's the search engine results page. So you know when you Google something and you get a hypertext link come up and 3 lines of text that's basically words that you're likely to see on the page if you click through it, well that is a search engine results page. So that's a SERP, and you can write that meta description yourself, and Google will quite often use that rather than just pulling something randomly from the page itself. So all of these things need to be SEO friendly. They need to be, keyword rich, and your URLs need to be that as well. So each page will have its own URL. So I'd have www.mariepageyoga.com / and then, for instance, my page that's all about Hatha Yoga will be / Hatha-yoga-classes or something similar to that. It all depends on the research that I have done on the keywords. So SEO really is all about how Google views your website. What does Google think of it? And it does take time to build that authority and trust with Google. So at the time of screen grabbing this, this website I think is 2 weeks old. I'm using a little tool here. It's called the Moz bar, and it tells me that my this particular page I was on has a page authority of 5 and a domain authority of 4. So it's giving me an idea of what Google thinks of my website. Now, domain authorities can go up to 100. So mine's 4. It's rubbish, absolutely rubbish. My Digiterati site is much, much higher. Other sites I work on are much higher because they're much older sites and they have lots of incoming links to them. They've got lots of lovely content on there that has been indexed by Google over the years. So my domain authority will start to grow as I build more incoming links, as Google crawls the pages more often, and as people spend a lot more time on the website, as I get a lot more traffic driven to it. So I'm not remotely worried about the fact that domain authority is low at the moment, but I would suggest that you perhaps get this Moz toolbar if you've got an existing website. It's free and you can see how yours is. And unless it's 70 something, there's work you can do to improve your SEO. And I'd be astonished if any of you had websites with domain authority that high. So what are some of the things that we can do here? Well, Google likes unique content. So if you've copied and pasted all of your content for your website from somebody else's site, Google knows that, and it's not going to index your content at all. It's just going to put it into the supplemental index and assume that you've copied it from somewhere else. So you need to write nice, fresh, unique content, and you need all those titles to have good, rich keywords in, and nice, chunky, fresh written copy in the articles as well. Photos need to be properly labelled up, so the file name of the photo needs to be congruent with the keywords that you're going through on that page, as well as the alt text and the description. And Google likes sites to have new content added to them quite regularly. So again, if you've got an old site that you aren't adding to regularly, you're not doing yourself any favours in Google's eyes. Here is the start of some keyword research that I have done on websites in the Sussex area. So if we sort of start down here, I've looked at the local search, so yoga classes Plumpton, Lewis Sussex yoga classes Lewis yoga classes, and you can see what the average search volume is per month. Now, these are really niche searches, and Google's not terribly accurate in this, but you can see that yoga classes West Sussex is doing an awful lot better than Plumpton yoga classes. And here I've put who is the number one currently in the search results there. So I've got some competition coming up here, haven't I, when I launch my business stand there. wearesoulfit.com, theyogagarden.co.uk, Yoga Hub, that's a directory, and ditchlingyoga.com. And I've put some notes there, so you know what the local search box has as well. But I've also looked at what their domain authority is. So let's look back at mine. My domain authority is 4. wearesoulfit.com, which is a fairly big little, it's a big site, relatively speaking, for yoga classes. It's a studio in my local area, and it's only got a domain authority of 5. So I know that I can build my domain authority higher than that really, really quickly. So I should be able to overtake them in the number one search box for these search phrases if I am clever about the keyword phrases that I use. And then look at this, ditchlingyoga.com has got a domain authority of 2. Oh my word, it's so rare that you see something that's that low. So again, whilst that's the number one there for yoga classes in Ditchling, if I happen to be running the yoga classes in Ditchling, and I may well be renting a hall space there, then I should be able to get that number one slot quite easily. And look at how Yoga Hub, which is a directory, has done quite well. So that's got a domain authority of 30. But of course, the local yoga classes are going to do a lot better in local search because the directory is not that local. And then I'm looking at the more generic search results. So yoga classes for beginners, and you can see they've got lots and lots of monthly search volume, but you are not going to do well for these because you are wanting to compete locally. So these are all good words to consider, but I would want to pop a local search term like the local town or the county on here as well. So that's why I've not put any of the local search results or the competitors in here, because really it's kind of irrelevant. I'm not wanting to compete for whoever worldwide gets the best search results for yoga classes or yoga instructor. But these are useful keywords for me to optimize for nonetheless. But remember, Google will prioritize local searches. So that's the keyword research, and you just go through those, and you can use a tool like SEMrush to help you build more ideas for keyword search. I've got masses of other ideas for how you do this in the main course, so I'm not going to go through any more detail on that now. So from your research, you choose which keywords you want to go for. So you choose based on how many searches they are they get a month, what the competition are doing, because you want to kind of overtake them. The domain authority of the current listings, so particularly if, like with those ones I've showed you, I know I can get them and improve on those, so I'm definitely going to go for those keywords. And you want to look at the local search results as well and optimize for those search phrases too. Then you deploy those keywords across your site. So choose your home page phrase, the most important thing to use. So what do you think the one thing is that people local to you are going to be using to search? And that's what you want to go for with your home page. So that's going to be your title tag, your H1, your H2s are going to have variants of it, as are any of your alt tags and image file names, etc., etc. The rule is that you have one main keyword phrase per page. So, if you're doing pregnancy yoga, you have that on your pregnancy yoga page. If you're doing advanced Pilates, you have that on your advanced Pilates page, or maybe advanced Pilates in whatever your town is. And you don't have the same keyword coming across multiple pages. You go for one phrase per page. You want to create a page or a blog post for each of your chosen phrases. And obviously you can increase these over time. And you, as I say, deploy your keywords in the page title, the URLs, H1s, H2s, the alt tags, and the image file names. Getting links into your website is crucial, and one of the easy ways that you can do that is get yourself listed in the local yoga or Pilates or local directory listings, or if you're teaching judo or karate, you'll have local directories for judo and karate. So some of the yoga ones that you might want to look at are Yoga Hub, Yoga Finder, yogauk.com, yogablisshub.com, localyogaclass.co.uk. There are many, many of them. The one thing I'd recommend here is that you make sure that your NAP is consistent. So the name, your address and phone number is completely consistent across each of those directory listings. If it isn't, so for instance, I live at the moment in somewhere called Berry Lane, and in some directories that comes across as LN and others have LANE. I need to try and get that consistent across all of those directories. I've given you a lot more information on how to do that in the big course. Try and get backlinks. Look for other yoga websites. If you've got a friend that's running yoga or Pilates website, get a link back from them, particularly if they're in a different area. You're not going to be competitors, so you're not going to lose from them, but they could have a page of recommended other yoga teachers. You know, all the people that you trained with, have they got websites? Can you swap having links? Google loves other local businesses to link to you as well. So can you get the local coffee shop, other local community pages to link back to you? And it's fine if you link back to them as well. Reciprocal links are fine. And then of course to directories, and I have talked about directories already. We come finally in this module to looking at Google's pay-per-click ads. Now, when you create a Google My Business listing, it will offer you, I think, a £50 coupon to spend on pay-per-click ads on Google Ads. Not for the faint-hearted, not for the technically challenged, but I've done these myself, kind of, very DIY, or you can perhaps ask a friend that has done them before, or even get a little local agency to help you do them. You'll pay a few £100s to get these set up if you're using an agency. And these are the results that will show at the top of the search results. They're the sponsored listings. And particularly when you're not really anywhere in the organic results, it can be a good idea for you to just go, well, I'm just going to pay to get seen as I'm building my business when I'm first starting. While the SEO work beds in, I'm going to pay to get some Google ads. I would suggest that you keep the targeting really local, so you can say, I only want the ads to be shown within, say, 3 miles of my of this particular address, and you just want them to show for particular search results. So yoga classes in yoga classes near me, hatha yoga, beginners Pilates, children's karate classes, whatever those search terms are. And you can really go for those generic search terms that we talked about. So just beginner yoga classes, big generic search term that you're not going to necessarily get much response from, because you're not going to be able to list very high for that. But you should be able, if you're targeting local geography in terms of where you're paying for your ads to show, to actually get shown in the paid results. So I will very much do that when I first move down to Sussex and I get my business established there. So that was a little bit of a starter for SEO. I know it's very technical and it feels very daunting if you don't feel like you're a technical person. But believe me, you really do need to get your head around this when you build or rebuild your website. Even if all you do is sort of understand the principles, so you do my big course and then you specify exactly to your developer what you want, because they will not do the work on it unless you specify it, because it takes ages. So with Valda Moses, I spent 2 or 3 weeks solidly doing the research and deploying those keywords and creating content for their site. It's not a quick job, okay? It's not something you're going to just be able to do in an afternoon. It does take time. But again, if you're investing in it, you are going to get people coming to your site and to your classes as a result. Enough on SEO. Module 5 is going to be all about Facebook and social media. So much more fun. I will see you back in module 5. If you've got any questions, of course, put them into the comment thread below the video and I will come back to you. Thank you very much. See you in module 5.